generate a customer invoice.
Okay.
I'm familiarizing myself with the reports. I've been able to customize a report. If I was doing up, say overdue invoices to customers, being able to customize.
I do, yeah. Okay. I know you're well on with it, so so if there's anything you kind of wondered about during this, just tell me. We'll have a look at the VAT concern you have anyway first.
Yeah, because I tell you, when it comes to actually, the accounting side of it, like, I'd be lost.
Okay.
And I think as well, it's maybe a bit to do with the housekeeping of where, like, there's a lot of duplication. And my colleague Fiona, who looks after the payables, she works off-site, so it's getting her in and we're just going to try and tidy it up. There's a lot of duplication. There's just a lot. It's very busy.
Okay. See the VAT here. Is this the VAT you're referring to? Is it?
You see, I don't know. I had a look at that earlier on today. Like, if it's sitting, I can see Fiona put that in, but is that once you hit file that it just automatically goes into that?
Yeah. Do you find yourself in a refundable situation in reality? Is that? In
the ROI, yeah, because I tell you, the ROI company, all the purchases go through that company, but all the sales, the 90% of the sales are in the UK company, the NI company.
Oh, okay.
So you're doing an awful lot of over and back, like you're doing up, internal invoices to cover the purchases in the ROI. So
okay, grand. All right. So I'll just talk for a sec. I'll just take the numbers off for a minute. So I'll just be me again. Okay, so the way it does the VAT, I might have said this the last day, is if there's sales, you put in the sales and the VAT rates, and if there's purchase, you do the same. And then when the end of the VAT period is up, so we'll go with November, December, which I think is there. So November, December, okay, you click on the word taxes. Okay. Yeah. And always the figure up here at the top is kind of the way you stand on it. Okay. So that one is saying from January to February now we're at 868. Now that may or may not be right because there could be stuff to go in, but it's a figure anyway. And when the period is up and you're looking, so we'll go to January, February here. See this one? Yeah. And if I click on this, it's going to show that same number there now, 868.04. So T1 is 0, T2 is 868. I know you understand this. Yeah. And so in a refund for that. Once you click this thing, mark as filed, it clamps all the sales we're paying VAT on and all the purchases we're claiming VAT on. So if you go fiddling around with moving dates or anything, it'll say, this is already filed. Okay, are you sure you want to do that? But at least we know what we've paid and claim VAT on. That's what that's about. So I'll just come back a bit. These ones further down. So obviously that was July, August. No VAT on, well, I'm sure the VAT on sale, but just see what it said. So VAT on sales was very small, 258. VAT on purchase 25,000. So you're in a VAT back position with that amount. Okay. Yeah. That's what that is saying. Which is grand. I just marked that off. So these are all finished with. Now the thing is, the refund didn't happen. That's the thing. And what you're seeing in that VAT suspense is a refund due to you, but it doesn't show it's been received. Okay.
Say that again. I lost you.
Okay, just from an accounting point of view, what you're seeing in that minus VAT suspense 50,000, that's refunds claimed. Okay, they're claimed, but they're not here yet. Okay.
Is that because we just didn't apply the receipt or the money in?
Yeah, I don't know yet. Actually, I'll have to have a look and see. Might be. It came into it. It was brought in, yeah. Let's go back a bit. This year, yeah. Just come back to last year. See where those refunds went. We'll just go back into 21. Right. Purchase that bill. Are you working there long?
Since October.
Okay. And do you remember seeing VAT coming back yet, Michelle?
Have I which?
Have you seen VAT come back in yet?
What do you mean come back in?
They lodged it to your bank account.
Yeah.
You have, okay, so it's here somewhere.
It's it's sitting in the bank.
Okay, we'll just have a look for a date for one of them. Which bank is it in?
It's in
This one maybe.
yeah. See, I don't go in that way. I go in there and banking.
Oh, right, okay. That's grand. So, oh yeah, look at these here.
47,667 and that 2690. That's the recent VAT return.
It is, yeah. So
it was what happened was the fact that FireFly had, they have rejigged the companies due to Brexit. So when they set up the VAT for the ROI, that was their first VAT return. So obviously when revenue, seeing that it was so high, they just had a lot of questions. So the queries went on and on and on for a couple of months. And so that was a delay in getting the return back. They just they kind of just went through it with a fine-tooth comb. So by the time you're over and back, they were saying, send us copies of this, that, and the other. By the time they checked, it came back with more queries. So that was the delay in getting the money back.
Okay. Right. So I'll show you what to do. What I'll do with this 2690, and I might get you to fix the other two then while I'm here. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was a collector general. I'll just see, does he exist here? No. Okay, I'll just put him on there. Collector general. I'm just kind of calling these people what they're really called, as opposed to just making it up. Suppliers. And anyway, that money goes into the VAT suspense. Now, do you remember it was 50,000 owing?
Yeah.
It was a while ago. So it's going to come down. Now, there's no VAT on VAT, right? And so the term you use is either of these is fine, no VAT. Okay. It'll always come up. So I'm going to add this, see if it goes in. Fingers crossed, did. Okay. So now I go to reports, balance sheet. That's 50,000 should be at 47.5, I believe. Just have a look. Look at that magic. See it there?
Yeah.
Now what's going on there is what this balance sheet is telling us is we're owed this amount of VAT back.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's not saying that we've got it. All right. That's what it's not saying. So the other payments that you got back. So I'm just wondering, I will give you, I'll make you a co-host here. See, can I? Yeah, I'm going to give you control of this for a second, okay?
Okay.
You okay with this? So you should be able to control my screen now. Just click on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, so we'll just find those other refunds belong wherever they are. So I found that one kind of outside the bank in a place called the waiting room. Because it's waiting, it didn't know what the money was about, so it wants you to tell it where to go, okay? And then it'll go in.
Yeah.
So I'll just let you use in your approach, find those other refunds. We'll just see where they are at the moment.
No, where's the bank gone? Oh,
While you're doing that, I'll just
Yeah.
throw it, log on the fire.
I don't know. It's not. Can you?
You've lost the screen a wee bit. Just stop moving a second. Sorry, I'll just go down here and bring you back. Okay, off you go.
Right. So I know that that's the VAT return. So,
Oh yeah, all came back. Okay. Oh, so that's out there too. So you go further down. Okay, that's cool. That's fine. Yeah. Did you fill in all those blanks? Yeah.
no.
No. So I kind of set it up last time. It learned from the last one I did. So
So is it right that the transaction type is a deposit?
yeah.
It's going from here. It's going into the. Is it still going into the VAT? I know you had it in, but is that
Still going there. Yeah.
so? If I just hit add,
That's it.
is that going to?
You can't break it anyway. So just have a go at it. Okay, so that's gone off there. So if you go back to the balance sheet again. Yeah, further down. Yeah. So the VAT suspense is only 316 now.
Yeah. Where's the pulling that 316 from?
That's got to do with what date on the balance sheet up the top there? Probably today. It is today, yeah, actually. Yeah, so that's a refund since January 1st, 22.
Okay.
Yeah, because you haven't filed anything for that time. Yeah.
So when we go to file the VAT return, we're going into right. Obviously, QuickBooks is doing the work. But how do we? Is there a way of checking that everything is as it should be, or?
Yeah. So if you click on taxes again.
Yeah. Because I'll tell you, Kevin, what I'm finding here is an awful lot. I think there's too many people using QuickBooks that really don't understand, as I was saying to you, when there's an invoice and it's processed, then other people come along then and would adjust it. So if something was £250, say, it had chopped and it would have changed numerous times. So they would taking bits off and putting bits on, but the invoice could have been a few months old. So that's obviously skewing the figures. And then if you have your VAT filed, it's skewing that.
Oh yeah. There's a few things there where you can find those. You can look at those. You see the cog on the top right?
Yeah.
If you click on that guy. And see audit log in the 2 columns to your left.
Yeah.
And down 3, just click on audit log there.
Audit log.
It's under tools.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if, just in case there's the same mistake coming up all the time or same behavior, at least on this you can see at the top there shows you all users.
Yeah.
So you show you this one. At least you can kind of see who's doing stuff.
Yes.
And train them to do it right as opposed to wrong, you know?
Yeah.
So,
but say with, because I know with Sage it wouldn't be like this. Like you'd have to do an internal credit or credit note or something to for the difference. But if you've an invoice, say, and it's going back to December, and if it was initially processed at 250 and then somebody amends it after the fact, like, to me, what's the best way of dealing with that? Yeah, okay, somebody here processed the invoice with the incorrect amount, and obviously they got billed more than they should have, so the invoice does have to be adjusted. But I know it, like as I tried to get across here, is it takes 2 seconds to change the invoice, but it's the implications in the background. But would you be better off doing a credit note? But then I don't like doing credit notes either. What's the best way?
Well, in that situation that you just said there, the best way will be the credit note. Okay, because it'll be today, it'll be in this VAT period, won't upset the last one. And yeah, you just email it out to the other crowd, and if they were charged too much or they, you know, this fixes it up and it comes through in their statement as well.
Yeah.
That would be the best. So the credit note, do you know where that is?
Yeah, I just go into the customer, and then I would go into transaction, is it, and then credit.
Yeah, that's one way. Another way is, you see on the left there, plus and new.
Yeah.
So there's a good few things in here that, you know, you kind of want to shortcut to them. So credit note is the fourth down on the left hand side.
Yeah. And
you type it in, you know, so it just saves some of the clicking going in. There's a good few.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to me. I just hitting. So I think that'd be the best. Now, if somebody keeps doing what you just described, right, and it upsets the VAT and all of that, what will happen is, if you go back, click on taxes there again.
Yeah. Because what we found as well is we have, there's a company in the north that is at the minute doing the VAT return for us. And we just want to bring it back in-house, but it's just haven't got around to it yet. But we're finding that there's differences, you know, but obviously we know the reason why, because people are randomly amending invoices. But it's kind of, how do we fix it on QuickBooks? Or the file is saying this value, but the refund is saying this value, and it's to try and
now the best way,
get them to match.
The best way would be the credit note. But you see on this next one coming up, next file to return, you see where it says prepare return on the right?
Yes.
Can you click on that for a moment?
Yeah.
Just go into prepare return first. Yeah, so that's kind of showing you where we are for January, February at the moment. If somebody has changed something, remember I said it clamps the purchase and the sales VAT? If somebody's changed an old invoice that we've kind of already declared on that, and it changes the VAT, there'll be, excuse me. Let's come over and just bout of tiredness for a second. They will be an extra column here, and it'll be called exception report. Okay, and what it does is it shows you stuff from a different period that changes have been made, and if more VAT is owed, it'll grab it in here, and if less VAT is owed, it'll claim it in here as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't be too bad in the ROI, because obviously the majority of the sales is, there's no VAT on them. But when you get into the NI company then, and you're dealing with the UK, well then it does affect, you know, there is VAT on all the sales, 99% of them. So it's to try and get that across. But on the sales this end, it's not too bad, because there'll be no VAT.
Exactly.
Involved.
So that'll be fine, even if people go on there and you go deleting or adding things. It's frustrating for you, but the VAT, it'll still keep a hold of it here. Yeah. Right. So, and that report is the exception report. I'll show you, just X that there like you were about to.
Yeah, because I think I think we came across that in other ones. I think it might have been this one, the 25014.
Okay.
I can see their view exception details.
Yeah, and the list there, and it'll show you originally filed and changes. Yeah,
it's just to try and understand all these. Right, so that doesn't contain it.
Yeah, it makes sense though once you see it, and there's no opportunity there yet to see it. So the VAT will be tight enough. Really, once I put in the right rates, and same with the payment too, by the way. So you can do if there's money owing, you can put the payment through on QuickBooks, and when it goes out of the bank, it'll kind of match up against it, you know. So
yeah, because we're actually the the accountants in the north, they actually just put the VAT return for October, November, December in. So there's we have a nice big bill there to pay. So that's going to come up now, I'd say next week.
Okay.
But I suppose as far as being able to do the VAT in-house, QuickBooks does it all. You just go into taxes and you can see there that the January and February one, when it comes to the time, you just go and prepare a VAT return.
Exactly, yeah, that's it. It gives you the, although I had it up there, I didn't really show you around it. But if you click on that there, it'll give you the T1 and T2 situation and E1, E2, all that, you know.
And if there's any adjustment, you're saying it puts in an additional line.
Yes, a column, additional column, yeah.
Okay.
So there'll be a line of items down here. It'll say exceptions, and there might be a figure like plus 50, and here could be plus 90. And what one would be, you know, you underclaim VAT on the purchases and you forgot to include VAT on a sale back in the period. And that'll come up a good bit. So if you come across a late bill, so this is January, February 22, but say you file that and you're happy enough. And then someone walks in with another bill from January. So, oh, Jesus, I'm not applying the VAT.
Yes.
You still put it in here, yeah. You still put it in here. It'll still go back into January, but the VAT will be claimed in the exceptional report in March, April.
Oh, so it'll pick up that it wasn't included, so it'll include anything.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's
it'll pick up. It kind of sweeps back over the whole lot again to see if there's any VAT here.
Yeah, because I was going to ask that because so it does include anything that's going back, but it just wasn't included in the return.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. So, and you're saying that when we file the return, that VAT sits in the VAT suspense.
Yeah. It does, and then when the money comes in, you do what we just did there, you know. So we just deposit it and put it, say this came from the VAT man. It goes into the bank as one side, and then who gave it to us? The VAT crowd gave it to us. Yeah.
So it's deposit, collector general, the suspense, VAT suspense. And
yeah.
The VAT is obviously your zero, and then just add it, and then that'll be the other side.
But this, yeah.
So it does, like I am starting to see that the QuickBooks, it really takes a lot of the manual.
Yeah, we might have a look at tidying up your balance sheet for a second, because you're nearly ready, I'd say, to talk about the UK version.
But can I ask as well, Kevin, just see in relation to the cents, you know, you don't work with cents in the VAT, and then obviously how can we, do we just, when we're doing the VAT, do we just round it up or round it down?
Yeah, it'll ask you when you're paying it, how much you're paying. Let's say it was something in cents, you just put in, say, the 10,000, and it'll mark it all up as paid. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The cents can get a bit annoying. So even on the profit and loss account, you know, there's all the cents here. There's under customize, you can have these without there being cents. You see that?
Yeah. It's just like if you have a VAT, you know, a VAT refund of 25,000, but then it's showing 25,039 like you're going to be, you know, you're going to have a difference there.
You are, yeah. No, it'll handle the rounding, all right. Okay. Yeah. The next VAT return you're doing, you all have a different mindset, you know. It'll offer you tax payment, and if you put through the payment on here first, I think your banks are matched up there, yeah. At least when it goes out of the bank, then it'll match the money going out with what it sees, you know. So
where can I see that now, just to see? Does it, obviously it just does the journal in the background?
Yeah, where you'll see that is when you're actually filing the next VAT return. I can't do it for you because once it's filed, it stays that way. So but just when you're on prepare return and then it goes mark, say you were happy with that. When you go mark as filed, it'll ask you about putting through the VAT payment. So let's just say we owed 868.04.
Yes.
It'll ask you how much. You'll say 868, and it just rounds us down to 868. So,
right. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Do you mind if I take a 5-second adjournment to grab a cup of coffee? Because
Oh, absolutely.
I lit the fire behind me. I think it's knocking me out, you know. I don't know. I lit it because it was kind of cold here, working away, even though I had heat on. And Jesus, it was just a bout of fuck my eyes out. So I'll just grab one next door and I'll be straight back. Will that be okay?
Oh, work away. I'll do the same this side.
Yeah, I'll pause the recording on this then, and that way we're not, looking at dead time when you're looking back at it.
Perfect.
And I'll go the extra few minutes after the work. Yeah, cheers.
Thanks.
See you in 5. Resume recording. Probably this one, the euro currency one, sterling currency. Is that a real bank account?
Is it which?
Is that Michelle? Bank currency GBP. This one. Are these? I'm just wondering, should these be here? These type of ones, lump sum payers.
Yeah, we use lump sum pairs. Well, apparently it's used. So when, say, a customer sends us in $5,000 and they just want to pay stuff off a bill, you're taking it from the bank that it's sitting in and you're transferring it into lump sum pairs, and then you're allocating the payment. So, every time you transfer into lump sum pairs, it's kind of just an intercompany bank. You're using it just to allocate the payment. If it's more than one invoice, you can go when you're in the bank and you click on the receipt, and it QuickBooks can do a match for you. But if the match isn't there, if it's one invoice, it seems to work okay. But if you're paying multiple invoices, you seem to. Apparently, that's what I've been told since I came here anyway. To use the lump sum pairs.
Okay.
So when you're transferring it, but then you're just applying the payment, so you're always bringing it back to zero.
Okay. Okay, so this guy deposited there. He's paying all these invoices. Okay, and just understand with the allocation, but why does it not arrive directly into an account that's in a different company? Is this right?
Say that again.
So this 59250, we just go back to the 1 minute before it. That's it. They got 596, is it? Or but I just happen to pick on the 592, and this looks like the money being transferred out. 596. I'm just kind of looking to have an easier way for you. Probably a slightly handier one is the one above it. You see here the 450 comes in on lump sum payers.
And it goes, yeah.
And so I'm trying to look at what's on that one, because I think someone's kind of overcomplicating it here. Okay, so that's a supplier or customer rather. So that's them. They paid that amount. You see, do they pay exactly? Yeah, so they paid exactly these invoices.
Mm-hmm. I
can know that because it's not part payments there. So that comes into lump sum payers. Then here is where they say, right, then they transfer that into the AIB FireFly ROI account. Okay.
So that's the actual bank.
That's the actual bank, but this, anyway, the easier way for that, right, to just half the work on that would be when the payment is coming in, just keep an eye on this deposit too.
Yeah.
And you put that into the actual bank. And that's it. It's one less account to be explaining to auditors,
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing, Kevin. I've noticed that, and that's why myself, my colleague has to get sitting down, because there's too much going on. There's a list of bank accounts, there's a list of nominals, there's duplications.
Okay. Well, that's one anyway. That was, cut in half 50% of.
So say if €1,000 comes in tomorrow and it's from ABC Podiatry, and I want to allocate that €1,000 into their account. What are you saying? So instead of just going, what we normally do is you go to banking, click on the bank, you see the £2,000 sitting there that's after coming in. You know it's after coming from ABC Podiatry, and you want to allocate the payment. So what we currently do is we click on the payment, we transfer it into lump sum pairs, euro if it's a euro customer. Then we'll go to the customer's account, and then we'll do, up there, the little button, new transaction, you go to payment, put in the payment date, whether it was a credit card or a bank transfer, hit the lump sum pairs, and then allocate the payment.
Yeah, so I wouldn't do as much as that now. So when you see the 2,000 coming in from ABC,
yes,
okay, don't go lodging it anywhere first. Just go plus receive payment, and you might even have a customer ABC. So let's just say it was this crowd, Alba Foot Clinic Limited. You put it here. You mark the 2,000. I'll do something with bills. Actually, I think somebody might review bills. Can't find someone. The IT crowd might have bills. No, they don't. No, they're all pretty up to date, all these. Just looking for someone who might have some bills owed you.
Sean Savage, I have a few now that.
Sean Savage. Yeah. Yeah, he's 3 there. So I'm just glancing at them. So say 1,000 landed into the account. You'd have the 1,000 there. It'll attempt to allocate them itself.
Yeah.
Okay. And that might work. It might, but if not, you just select which ones you want to pay after the 1,000.
Yeah.
And just deposit to the account that you see it coming into, and that's the end of it.
So if you went back out to the bank, then that payment should be gone.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So do you want to do that saving? Yes. So I'll just go away from him. Right. Now, what you're kind of referring to there is the waiting room area, which is this area here. 1 to review, 2 to review.
Yeah.
If it doesn't quite, so I'll just see who's here now at the moment.
Now see.
Sorry.
You see, if that 2,000 was a customer now, you're telling me that I just go to new payment.
Yeah, you would. It's like it doesn't know who that is. Okay, first of all, I'll show you 2 things you can do. So we'll say that was Sean Savage's money, right?
Yes.
Okay, you would put in Sean Savage here. So that's Sean Savage. We can see something on there that tells us that. Okay. Okay. Actually, not that one. Actually, I'll do a slightly different thing that'd be better for you, right? This will actually be better. Okay. So you see that money coming in as Sean Savage. So he's after paying us 2,000.
Yeah.
Go receive payment. I'll actually put this through and then delete it, right? That's Sean Savage. Was that euro back there? Was it? Which, anyway, 2,000. I know we don't have enough bills here or anything. Don't worry about that. I'm going to put that in. Make sure it's today. Yeah, save and close. Yeah, that didn't work there now. Just see it again. Plus, because there might be a different rule on that FireFly. Just have a look. That's 1,000 AIB FireFly, and yeah, he's 1,000 AIB FireFly. Okay, let's find this. Yeah, he's pounds. Okay, that's what's throwing out. I'd need to go to a euro guy actually, because he's sterling. Do you have another euro guy who I could do against anyone? Could I? Fire. We should see. Yeah, it's going to change of him. He's a euro guy. Yes. Okay, so I'll just pretend he's the 2,000. He's pounds as well, though. Hang on. Right here. what's happened is there's 2,000 euros come in. I just want to show you how you'd match it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just seem to be hitting on pound, guys. I'll just see there. Ashley. Okay. So I've put through the 2,000. Okay, so it's landed in the bank. And it's working perfect now. It doesn't know what that is, but it reckons it's found 2 payments, 2 matches, and it's either Sean Savage or Aisling Farrell. Which is it? It'll match it up. So what you do is when you see it coming in, you put it through who it is, and it'll match it again to itself.
Okay.
And you go like this, match. So I've actually put, and I'll delete these transactions now because they didn't actually happen. But you put through the payment first. Don't see there's money here in the bank. Let's put it into lump sum payers and then decide what it is. Just do the decision first, and it'll match up against it every time.
So the 2,000 is sitting there. You just go to new receive payment and you put in the customer.
Yes.
And then go find a match.
Find the match. If you can't find the match, at least you put the 2,000 against the customer's name, and it'll recognize on here that the 2,000 that came in is probably that person. It'll just ask you to match it up.
Okay, and then you can cut lump sum pairs out altogether.
Cut it out altogether because it's just you're adding work to yourself, you know.
Yeah.
So and make the account inactive so people can't be using it.
Okay.
Do you know how to make it inactive? I'll show you anyway. So you just go into chart of accounts, and over here on the right it lists all the accounts. Now, I'm not trying to change your whole way of accounting here, but here you just go make it active. See, this is the account history. Yeah. And we can bring it back if we ever, you know, someone says, I'm not going to work that way, you know.
Yeah.
You know, yourself. So but that's how you do it. So stuff. Okay, so when you're on the thing here, I won't forget to get rid of those things. When the banks are connected up, it's sending over information each day what came in and went out. I'll just go down to your main account there again on here, and I remember showing this to the other girls. There's rules here, and there's not half enough rules here. That it should be when it sees certain words coming in, you're telling it what to do with the money. So if I go into, so any items out in this section that's in that to review, it's like a waiting room. It's not actually in your accounts yet. It's queuing up to go in, but it's not sure where to put itself. It needs you to tell it. Now that again is creating work, right? But if I go into the register, this is actually in your accounts now. You're actually in your balance sheet and all that stuff, okay? So there's Aisling and there's Sean. Sean came through as 2,000 sterling, and that's why there was all this stuff. I'm going to delete both of them now before I forget. The next thing there's trouble. Okay, and it'll put that amount, that 2,000 back out in that waiting room again, by the way. Because I've got nothing to go against now. See it there now. One to review. There's your 2,000. See that?
Yeah. So that actually doesn't. So you can just delete. Yeah.
What is that there? Yeah, you can delete. Yeah.
That is, I think it's rent. The clinic, FireFly clinic, rents the next door property office. My colleague Fiona looks after that side. I haven't even got near any of that yet.
I'm just going to have a quick look for you. So a good thing to do is see what they did. I'm not saying it's right what they did before, but if you look on here, you see January to February. Do you see any rent? Just see if they had it before. Is that recently rented or? Yeah,
I think it's only a new thing. They started charging the clinic rent.
All right. Okay, well, the type of thing I would do, I'll show you here, right? So FireFly clinic rent. That's Sean Savage. It's only from the last time, so he's got nothing to do with it, and take him out. So the customer is obviously FireFly Clinic. In case they're already there. It's not any of these things, is it? These customers.
It could be. I'm not 100% sure which one it is. I would imagine it's that one, Sligo. But my colleague Fiona would know more about that than me.
Would she? I just want to see if there's an invoice. I'm not going to mess it up on you anyway. There's an invoice there. It'll be what I showed you, FireFly. Sligo, this one, yeah. Well, there isn't 2,000 owing anyway. These are all, yeah, there's no sign out there yet. So if it's something that you're getting paid and there's no invoice, I'll just show you how to set up a rule. And this would apply to wages and things like that. You click on there.
Yeah.
That's the deposit. In this case, it's going to be, I'll just call it FireFly Clinic. That name is what's on the bank account there, FireFly Clinic. Add that customer, that's fine. Call it what it is, rental. And see if they want set up here, rental income. No VAT kind of among yourselves. So I'm just going to tell it that it's a no VAT zone. So I'm just telling it where to put everything. And down here, see this thing, create a rule?
Yes.
So just call it something you'll know without having to ask. Clinic rent. So every time it sees FireFly Clinic and the word rent, obviously January will change. So I'm just go over the stuff that's really common. So contains FireFly Clinic and rent. Deposit that to the rental income account every time. Okay, so that should be there. Now that rule will be sitting, there's two places. There's always two places for everything. It'll be here in rules now, clinic rent. So if we have to change anything, we can. You just edit it and have a look at it. They're easy enough now, you'll have no problem. And the second place is when I'm just touching the word banking, the same rules is there. Okay, so there's two places you can find it. And just when we're here, these are labor savers now.
So you're saying that if that is a recurring monthly thing, so if it's 2,000 a month, you're saying that once it comes in and it hits the bank, the rule is setting it up that it's just going to
go straight into rent, and you don't have to think about it. It's there.
Oh, right. Okay, so you don't have to apply the payment. It'll just
go straight into rent in the bank because it recognizes FireFly Clinic and rent, that's rental income, and as a deposit. You know, now you might have more things going on with the FireFly Clinic, and that's how it might get mixed up. So you'd add a second condition that if it's FireFly Clinic and rent and it equals 2,000 euro, that's always rent. But if it's a different figure, it could be something else. You know.
Yeah. So it'll automatically go into that nominal.
Yes. You see these guys here now. These are prime for rules. Okay. So this here means come down from the bank fees, these greens. Okay, so I'm just going to click on Sarah Fay, edit. This is something that you could do after today. And I know from looking at the green thing, it's come down from the bank already. See there? That's what came down, Sarah Fay Hines. And so we want to create a bank rule for this one. Just see, could I make that recurring? Definitely won't. I don't need that saving. I'll get out of there. Onto it. Just where I can do it now. Let me see now. Unmatch. Check out there a minute. Yeah, 2 to review. So Sarah, see there now.
Yeah.
This is like when you put stuff through the account, then it happens at the bank a day or two later. Okay.
Yeah.
Matching up there. So that's the type of thing. So just going to click on that there.
Okay.
And I want to set up a rule for you if I can. Let's see. It's already gone in. Okay, I'll go and find that expense from it. I'm going to delete this, don't worry. Okay, actually, I'm noticing another thing too while I'm here. See the way the salaries are in against the 0% VAT rate?
Say that again.
Yeah, I'm just noticing another accounting correction that you need to do.
Okay.
Okay, just from knowledge of the program. So like there's no VAT on wages, obviously, but here it's putting it into the 0% VAT column. Do you deal with VAT much yourself?
Do I which?
Do you deal with VAT much yourself?
Just
Just
direct.
VAT return
Yeah.
size.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just
You see,
okay.
I wouldn't, I run the payroll, but I don't, once I pay it in the actual bank, it's my colleague Fiona who would look after once it hits QuickBooks. She seems to look after all the, the outgoings.
Okay.
So
Well, the thing to advise her if you get a chance is there is no VAT on wages, all right? So this area up here just needs to be out of scope, okay? So VAT doesn't come into it at all. Here's where it was there. It was asking people to make a decision which VAT rate it was. I'll just revert back to what it was at.
okay.
Okay. And some people might say, sure, that doesn't make any difference. Isn't it still zero? The trouble is there's another form coming up called the return of trading details, and it wants to know how much stuff you bought at 23%, how much stuff you bought at 13.5%, how much stuff you bought at 0%, and that wages figure will come into it.
Right. Okay.
And they're always dying to come out and talk to people about these return trading details, and they're awful hard in the first place. But if you throw wages in there, they'll start, the wrong tax person say that you're deliberately falsifying it, and it just keeps them around, but you don't need them. So anyway, the return of trading details is a pain in the neck form, but this does do it for you, this form. So, but the right way to do wages is out of scope. VAT doesn't come into it. Same way we did with when I put the VAT control money through, that was also out of scope, And
is there a way that we can have that as a default then when Fiona goes to process the wages?
Yeah. So next time, if you think of it, just tell her to try that. But I'm going to set this up now for you. Okay, so Sarah, pretend the bank sent over what Sarah Faye got paid. Okay. Come in, it's never seen Sarah before. That's what I've just done with this, right? So I'm just going to click on it. And the word create a rule is down here. See this?
Yeah.
Okay, now you all start noticing this all the time now with these. So I'm just going to put that back where it was. So payroll or something. I don't know what they were, those.
I think she puts it in as salaries.
Oh, salaries, yeah, that's right. Salaries. There, yeah. It's to be out of scope. I'm going to set that for that category all the time now. Yeah, okay. Create a rule. So I'm going to call this her name. So you can just, there's no big typing here. So it's all in there from the bank. Okay. Okay, so every time it sees the name Sarah Faye Hines,
yeah,
I'll put it into salaries, but I'm also going to add to that slightly just for tidiness. I had her name there now. Capitals from the bank, but I'll leave it there for now. Putting this in as an expense. A tidier job. Okay. Around, so that's fine. I'm going to save that. Now it's put her wages through now in the bank again. Just go down and find where she was. That was her, was that her, Sarah Faye? That's there, actually, that's the one I did. Okay, so that's gone through, it's back in, but if I click on it this time, two things. Okay, oh yes, actually the VAT coming through there is out of scope, and that's the wrong place, it should be here. Okay. Anyways, as long as it's out of scope is the main thing. And
so do you have to do that individually for everyone?
for everybody, yeah. Now, your best opportunity for that is next time the bank, everyone gets paid,
Yes.
it'll all land into that review area. And just
Yes.
create a rule individually. And the second thing worth doing is, I'll just show you where Sarah's ended up now in the profit and loss.
Yeah.
You know, just so if people want to keep track of what different positions are costing, it's not, see, they're all, she's just there. Let me see salary. Sorry, I was one thing I overlooked. Make it a sub account. Each of those people on the payroll, their name should be on here really, and they should be sub account of salaries. There it is. Yeah. So all their money goes into under their name.
So yeah, but you not have a while long.
No, you won't, because
P&L.
it sounds long, but you see this here, you can just
Oh, you can expand it.
yeah.
Oh, I see. Right. So you're saying that, right? Okay. So I
At the
go,
moment, if I'm saying how much, you know, why are we paying all these people? Like there's a load of names there. But if we had to see here, Sarah Faye Hines, all her payments now will come in under her name there, and she can see how much she's got for the year. Same with Connor or Callum or any of these people. Like have their name, at least is in line with their contract, and also it's much easier to reconcile with the PAYE record at the end of the year. You know that you send in.
yes.
This is what we say we pay people, and this is what we did pay people. You know.
Right. So for me, just so I remember this. So
yeah.
When we run the payroll now at the end of the week, and Michelle runs the payroll, she goes into the actual bank and she makes the payment, and then it hits QuickBooks the following day, and we have the list of everyone's salary that comes out. So you're saying, right, you're seeing the payment, and then you're creating the rule.
Yeah, so you create a rule every time you see those names, you want to go into a certain place. So some work for you to do now, Michelle, is go into this chart of accounts for each of those people.
So like that's actually a step for Fiona now, that she doesn't have to go in and allocate the payment. So right, so how are we doing that again now? So I'm seeing the payment sitting there for Michelle for €1,300.
Yeah,
so I'm going to click on that.
Yeah, so you want to set up a new account. We'll start with you, right? So a new account.
What do you have to do in there now? So you have to go on accounting and
chart of accounts.
And you.
Yeah. So I'm just in here in the chart of accounts. That's all that's happened there. And you want to set up a new expense account. That's important. It doesn't actually matter what detail is here, but we're going to call this one Michelle Fox. Sorry, have you got a third name as well? Was it Michelle Fox something? Is it?
Murray.
No? Oh yeah. Are you Michelle Fox up there? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, just leave it like that. And then it's a sub account. That's the important word. With salaries. Okay, so there you are. So, and then for each of them, you do that. And this is recorded, and you'll be able to find it again. And but if I just go into the profit and loss again, just to show you how things begin to tidy up now.
Yeah.
Okay. Salaries is all this money paid out. I'll find one of your payments there somewhere. Where are you? I saw your name earlier.
Yeah, it's just 2 down.
2 down, is it?
No, down the way.
Oh, there you are, yeah. So your money just thrown into salaries there, but if I just click on the word salaries, Yeah, and there's Michelle Fox there. So that's where we'll do. And I'll actually put this to out of scope as well, so start correcting that. There you are. Okay, so down the bottom here now. There you are. Actually, I'm thinking there maybe an easier way to set up those little sub accounts. If I go into Conor Lynch here. So I'm just going to highlight his name. I know it's in capitals, but bit of a pain in the neck. If I go to the word salaries altogether and just put a colon, Conor Lynch. Okay, add new Conor Lynch. Brings you here a bit quicker. So his expense again. And he's a sub account of salaries. ALA seems to want the 4. There you are. Now you're beginning to take shape there. That's out of scope. It'll just save someone hassle down the road. Okay, and then down the bottom here, we're beginning to see what different people are getting paid overall. There's just a different reconciliation at the end of the year of what do we pay Connor, what do we pay Michelle.
Yeah.
Because we committed all the year to revenue, and they're there in a flash. You're not having to extract things. So.
And you're saying then when the payment, you won't really see the payment coming in on QuickBooks because it'll just start off to the nominal.
Yeah, it'll shoot into that. Yeah.
But what you did there was create the nominal for myself and Connor, but
yeah,
do you still have to apply the rule?
Yes, you do. And your next opportunity to do that is when the bank starts filling up, when these review items come in.
See, I wouldn't be familiar with looking at the banks there. I just go in on the bank, to where you kind of have the boxes.
Yeah. It's funny. One thing leads to another. Like if the bill is in here, then you can pay it and it'll match up with what's in the bank, like you said a few things to me on the phone the last day, which were that were very relevant. So these items will impact on you. All right. It just gets clutter out of the way.
Yes.
So because otherwise there's clutter. There's loads of things here in the review. Half them aren't put in the right place, or someone hasn't got to them yet. But at least if they're going automatically into where they should be, it'll free you up for a bit of head time anyway, like you're still doing your job and everything. But it's like stacking shelves in the supermarket and sending a young lad down who knows what he's doing it. That's what it's like,
Yeah.
So
creating the rule, then I would just
have a go at it. Like things like bank charges, straight into bank charges. Wages is a good one that goes straight into wages. I'll know by looking here at right now those emails are meant to, that's why I didn't have knocked off. School principal meeting. If I look down here, I'll just go into your bank account there. Some of them are suppliers, but if the bill is in there, it'll match up a few of them. So just see that transfer as fine. Like those lump sum pairs, like you're going to have, that doesn't tell you whose money it is. That's another failing there, by the way. I didn't, like we've got to go back into lump sum and see whose money we're looking for, So what I've shown you gets rid of the need for that altogether.
Yeah.
Okay. Because they're everywhere. And Peninsula, let me just see their bills. I know what they do. So if the bill is in ahead, now this might be happening already anyway. If the bill is in ahead, when this bank amount, this is probably the same amount. Actually, it wasn't the same amount. Yeah, it was paying 2 bills for looks of things. So that's one thing. If there's 2 bills in QuickBooks, and one payment, it won't really match up. The most it'll do is put it in against the same name, but it won't match against it because it's not too sure. But if there's one bill, so if that payment was 210.08, exactly the same as this, it would match that payment up to this straight away. So, but rather than me kind of give you a tour around, do you want to ask me some questions and I'll be guided by you as well?
Yeah, I love that idea with the rule for the salaries. That's brilliant. But just can you run through me again how to do the rule? So it's banking. I see the money sitting there, and when you're hitting when you hit on it, it's at the bottom, isn't it? Create rule.
It is. Now I'm going to click update if you don't mind.
Yeah.
It's going to ask them, just in case, it's going to ask the bank to send over anything that it hasn't sent over already. Sometimes they're doing updates in the bank, and these downloads might take a day or two. You know, they might at the odd time, but it's not infrequent. So that's so it might give us a few extra transactions to look at for you. So if we go back up to banking here, forward, asking the bank anyway, update. It looks like no, it looks like it's up to date. Yeah, this one is up to date anyway. So yeah, any of these I can see here where there's stuff in the waiting room because it's telling me. There's one. It's trying this guy out. That one's okay. This one. Okay, so Indeed is the advertising for wages. So if you click on any transaction here, it'll offer you the opportunity to do a rule.
Yeah.
Always when they're out there, yeah.
But what am I putting into the rule?
Well, someone here like Indeed, there generally be a bill for them. So
No, but like if we were talking about the salaries.
Oh yeah. Well, wait till you see the name there and they create the rule.
Yeah.
So if it's Michelle Fox, we'll say it's to do with her, Michelle Fox, wages maybe. And then either money coming in, I normally would do from all bank accounts. Okay. Where to put it. But in this case, I have to be on the Visa card. So it'll pre-fill all this for you. But if the description contains, and then I'm just going to go to the right here. You see the way there's these numbers here? It mightn't be as much as that, but it'll always, when the bank are paying out the money to them, it'll always have the words Indeed, but there might be some other gobbledygook number to the right that changes every time. So you just want to delete that bit out, okay? That's the phone number in that case. So every time it sees Indeed, put it into, now Indeed will have a bill, okay? So I'm not going to tell that one what to do, but if it was bank charges, say Indeed was bank charges, or a loan or something. Every time you see Indeed, put it into bank charges, and there's no VAT on bank charges, so it'll be exempt. Okay, and then automatically confirm the transactions this rule applies. So you say save. Every time it sees Indeed, it'll throw it into bank charges in that case, right?
Yes.
If it's all those wages people, you call it by their name. Every time it sees them, you'll put it into salaries in their name.
So would you just would you put salaries and then Michelle Fox?
Yeah.
Then into description contains salaries, Michelle Fox.
Yes.
Then you have, then it's an expense. The category is salaries. It's the zeros or the out of scope then for your VAT, and then hit save.
Yeah.
And then that's once, as you say, once it comes into the bank on QuickBooks, off it goes.
Off it goes. And if it doesn't go off, there's just something that's slightly off on the rule or the download, and you'll fix that at the time. But I can guarantee you it'll go off every time.
Now, just in relation to salaries, right? When that happens, so when we run the payroll and the payment comes out and we allocate the payment, but what about the other side of it? Like you're dealing with the net wages. Where does the gross sit? Like how do like?
Yeah, I know what you mean. So yeah. That's a good question. So what I do at the moment, there's still an expense of the business, and as part of the salaries, it's generally going to be, you know, the direct debit that goes through every month that the revenue take.
Yeah.
They pay you your salary, and you know the tax is taken out of it, but you don't know, you yourself probably don't know where that tax is. Well, the company will hand it over to the tax man about 10 days later. Okay. Am I making sense, or is this the first you've heard of this type of thing?
No, I'm not getting. Yeah. So, yeah, we pay the P30 every month instead of every quarter. But like as far as QuickBooks is concerned, we don't owe that money because it's not recorded anywhere.
Yeah, that's okay. So, and when you pay over that P30 money, where is it going at the moment?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. I actually pay it, but I don't. I go in on Ross and I would okay the payment, but it's actually my colleague Fiona then once it hits the bank, and I don't know offhand where she puts it.
You just see where she puts it. Yeah, I'll have a look. One. Yeah, down there.
There would have been a recent one.
Yeah, the payment will be to revenue. Now, there's a couple of payments to revenue. One is, well, there actually isn't VAT in this case, so maybe we get away with it. But sometimes there's money going to the revenue, and it could be for 2 or 3 things. I'm just looking down to see.
Yeah.
No, I didn't notice any there. Let's go to the next one. What is going in there? I'm just looking at the list of names here, looking for the revenues name. Anyway, she might be putting that. None yet. Big enough amount of all those people.
Well, we must have passed it because I only did it. Or it must have been a week ago.
A
And
week
payment come out recently.
Okay, I must pass it then, yeah.
Or a bit.
Does it come out of this account, the AIB
Yeah.
ROI? Yeah. Oh, there it is actually. DD Revenue Commissioners, right at the top. Oh, you put it into payroll liabilities. Okay, we just have. I'm going to come back here to this. So let's see what else in that account. Yeah, because there's a minus, right? See there, so this is where Fiona's putting it. And there's the beginning balance. Let me just go back a month. Let's go back and see what's happening earlier. Okay, there was only 2 payments in there. There was no liability set up, but she's put it against liabilities, which is fine if the liability is set up. Okay. If it's not set up, the place to put it would be in on top of salaries. Okay, and like I do it myself here for my own crew, for instance. So it would be called, it'd be a new account for you. I'll just set up the account, but you want to have it where it should go anyway is where I'm going to show you. Payroll. PAYE PRSI. We'll take those slashes, by the way, on salaries. Might not take those slashes to see with it. Oh, did I? Okay. So that'll be the place to put it because it's.
So when you say the liability isn't set up, what do you mean by that?
So when the wages were paid, we owed say 17,000. I got that figure.
Yeah.
And then we paid it 10 days later. So it wasn't set up when the wages were paid that we owed the 17,000. What happened was we paid the 17,000 10 days later. Okay, but the accounts weren't expecting to pay it because it wasn't in there. Like, you know, when someone gives you a bill, it shows you owe it. Yeah, there was no bill in here for the POE PRSI.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying was I always wondered where did that sit, because as far as QuickBooks was concerned, we didn't owe that money. It wasn't sitting there waiting to be paid. Yeah,
so you either put in that you owe the money, okay, because when you probably calculate on your payroll system, or if you don't, if it's other things to be at, instead of this going into payroll liabilities, it would go into that account I just set up and go in on top of all the payment to wages. So again, there's no VAT involved, out of scope, there's no VAT on taxes. I'll move this one and I'll move it back, right? I'll show you how it looks.
Yeah. So when we effectively run the payroll, like we don't like that's the thing, like that's what's catching me, is that when we run the payroll, nothing is in QuickBooks, only the bank payment, the net wages that went out of the bank. We don't, I don't know from what has happened to date, but that's all I see. And I'm always saying, well, where's the other side of it? Where's your gross and where's your employer's PRSI sitting? Where's the P30 sitting to be paid?
Yeah, it really should go in. I suppose the easiest thing would be to put it in as a bill. Okay, and then when it goes out, it'll match against the bill. At least then it'd be the same thing, collector general.
Because what I would be used to is obviously running the payroll and then going in, say on Sage, doing a journal for your gross wages, your net wages, if there was any expenses, you know, the PAYE, all that. So obviously that goes to various nominal codes and then you do your bank payment. But here it just seems to be the bank payment.
Yeah, it just needs to be the bank payment, yeah.
But we're not actually recording the P30s.
No, but if you
Or
did,
the gross wages.
yeah, if you did, it'd be a bill like this. Like something would have to go in to say we owe this money that's coming up. I forgot the amount there. You don't remember the amount you have had? 17 something, is it?
So I don't know what it was. It was 17.
Yeah, we just have a look here. So I go back and find it. 17,222.86. Okay. So 17,222.86. That'd be a bill. We pay out the wages, but we have all this other money to pay. Sorry. $17,222.86. It goes into the accounts like any other account, POE, PRSI. I see there's a POE expense accounts up there. 17,222.86. But this would be what if we were in mid-January again, we were having this conversation and you haven't paid it yet, right? So we say paid the wages, and this is what's going to be coming out sometime in February. Okay, you'd save that. And now the figure will have doubled down here now because the payment and the bill are in against each other. So I'll just, this wouldn't happen, right? So we paid that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this. Okay, and just come out for a minute. So a day or two goes by, okay, and then there's downloads from the bank. And we know this, and there it sees revenue commissioners 17,222.86, and there's a bill to the collector general exactly for that amount. Okay.
Yeah.
You could match it like that. So that's now in your accounts again. There it is. But we now know at least there was a liability there for it to pay, which is in that bill there.
Yeah.
So right back, which matches your P30. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when we run the wages. When we run the wages, should we be doing a bill for the P30?
Put in a bill for the P30 made payable. I'll leave that one there like that, so you can copy it. Okay.
Leave which one?
That one I just did, collector general. As long as Fiona Hobson is your name there, it doesn't get mad. I can delete it, put it back where it was if you want. But that's how it should. Like there's one there from earlier that needs to be. The way the accounts look at the moment is there's money being paid out for a liability that doesn't exist.
Yes, yeah, and that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Where's the other side of everything? Because we just seem to be dealing with the bank payment, but we don't actually, as far as QuickBooks is concerned. Like if we were to pay the P30 quarterly, well, there's nothing to show that we owe this money, but yet we're paying it out at the end of the quarter, but like it doesn't exist.
Well, if you put in a bill for paying out that money, that'll solve that.
So where is this one coming from? This 14,847? That must have been.
That was downloaded from the bank on the 22nd of December and was put in against payroll liabilities, but there wasn't any payroll liabilities in here at the time. Right. And that's why it's shown as a minus. Yeah, it's a common thing.
Right. So obviously that shouldn't be a minus. No,
it shouldn't. There should be a bill waiting for that to go against. Yeah.
So what we need to do is we need to create a bill. We need to put it into that PAYE nominal, and then what happens then? Do we have to?
What happens then is you delete this expense, and it'll match up to the bill in the waiting room for you.
All right. So you just go in. It should do, it should say collector general in the whole lot and you just hit match.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, so I've done it here on this recorded thing. You can have a look at that again. And if you go up here to plus new, with any of these, by the way, you say, where did he do that? You know, I've just brought up an empty bill there, but this little clock on the left will show you the most recent ones. And you can see the one I did there for the collector general for the POE, PRSI.
So obviously that, if the longer, like obviously if the P30 doesn't get paid, it's still, if we have to do the bill to show in the accounts that we owe this money.
Yeah. Yeah, so at least then you know what's coming up and it's not a big whack out of the bank on a certain day, you know. So
that's it. Like if they never really had monthly accounts here. But like obviously if you were doing accounts for say February and this money was yet to be paid, like it's but what about you know, you want to show that this money it's sitting in, it's, you know, it's visible in the accounts, but it just has to be paid. But
yeah, well the two yeah, go on, sorry.
What about the gross wages then? So obviously we're still only seeing the net.
Yeah, you're seeing the net. The rest of the gross is up in that bill there. Okay, I mean everyone's gross wages will be on their pay slip, so they're kind of happy enough with that. But in here,
but do we not need to have it in on the accounts?
Not necessarily, no. I mean it is there really, yeah. So if I go here now, so this is getting more familiar to you. So salaries, there's all the mixture of people in there. This is Connor's net pay, your net pay. And see this PAYE, PRSI, and USC on the salaries. That's everything that was taken off everyone, plus the employer's PRSI is in that 17,222.
So the employer's PRSI is in there. So we're not having that separate.
No.
Right. Okay.
No, it's part of the cost of the salaries. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. They're two very interesting ones. But I was thinking as well, Kevin, the fact that, as I say, Fiona works offsite. And she comes in maybe once every 2 weeks, but she's due in on Wednesday. We could do with having a sit down, the two of us, to kind of, because she'll have questions as well that
we can go over this again or email it to our house or something. I'll be giving you a recording of this, so it's being useful enough. At least, you know, I'm not sure. It's just she probably has a lot of different things to do. But this is kind of showing how stuff ends up in the right place anyway.
Yeah.
I see the bank is reconciled. At least everything is in the accounts. It's very easy to move it around if it needs to be somewhere else. Like there's no.
Yeah, because at the minute that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to just look at the chart of accounts and trying to tidy it up. And as I say, there was a lot of duplication, but it's as well, we're finding that when we try to create a nominal code, you can't change the description. And sometimes it doesn't look, you know, if we were talking about subsistence, say, like, and we're trying to record subsistence, you know, if it's accommodation or if it's food and drink or, you know, dinner or whatever the case may be, that the nominal, we are finding the description, you can't change that. And it may not be, you know, it may not be suitable.
Yeah, I don't think I found that. So I'll give you an example here, which is probably handy. See those three? See, there's 3 things there that are very similar. See those 3?
Yeah.
Now, rather than go deleting and moving stuff, if you just move them into, is there any of those you have a preference for?
No, well, see, that's the thing. I kind of need Fiona because she'd know more about what's in them than I would.
Okay. Well, I won't do it yet. Then, okay. So there's 3 things there, but really they're the same thing. Office expenses, office general admin, and other general. You know, they're all the same. So how you would amalgamate them, and then I'll show you, and then I'll unamalgamate them, right?
Okay.
So I'm just going to type in the word. I'm in the chart of accounts. I'm just going to type in the word office. So there's 2 of them, right? There's 2 there. So we'll say we want to just call it office expenses. So this one, you would just, I'm just going to take it so I know what I'm dealing with. Go into the edit. So it brings up what is in there as, but make it a sub account for office expenses. Okay, and I'll just close that. There was another one, I think, in general or something. Let me just see where it is. Get other general admin, so that one as well. Make that a sub account as well. Okay, so I'm not moving any transactions around here or anything, but in the profit and loss now, when I go to it, you see they're under that, but if I amalgamate them there, you get into a tidier. So office expenses, there's 2 or 3 other captions that people want, like you or anyone else can still see what's set out, but they're very similar to each other, but there's a tidier situation, right? Marketing and advertising could almoys be in the same caption as well.
Yeah.
And that's the one you were asking me about. I'll have a look at that in a second. Insurance. Now I don't know, it's just a pet hate I have. I get rid of the word general all the time. It's just insurance, put it all in there, we see what we're paying. Another thing, it's down to again personal preferences. You know, all these pence, like they'll still be in it, but if you go to customize and go without the cents, it's just, especially for non-accounting people, it's an easier read to look at that.
Okay.
Okay, and then if I'm just bringing these, depends who you're dealing with now. Some of them might just want to see that. All right, and you can save. Just save that there. So if you save, let me see today. I don't think I did set up. I'll call this one. I'm gonna set up a group, right? And just call it KB myself, so you can get rid of it again. But you can set some of these up for yourself, Fiona, or anyone else, set them up for themselves. But so that might just be a particular report that suits somebody, all right? And that's all they want. But rather than have to do that every time, so I've saved it. I'll go into reports here. In the middle here, there's this thing custom. So that report I set up that somebody just wants to see will come out exactly the way we designed it. Okay.
Yeah.
So there might be certain stuff you want to see, certain stuff Sarah, Fiona, or someone else wants to see, but you just, it's funny, it's almost invisible when you're doing those and you report back there. If you just scroll up slightly, there's customize and save to customize. There's all these reports, it can be a bit overwhelming. So I'll go to the balance sheet again. So somebody might like the pence, to want to see all that. That's fine. But if you don't want to see it, you just scroll up slightly. There's all these clues. You save it, set up a group for yourself, and the report that works for you can be there. Yeah, I'd say there's a bit of that. There always is, like different people have different stuff they kind of rely on, you know. So
yeah, and if we go and we create a new nominal code, it'll go into where there's nothing we have to do. Like it'll go into the P&L or it'll go into the balance sheet.
It will. For your benefit, just keep an eye on this. I just mean that because when you're new, you'll see, you know, there's a lot there. So okay, so all these, do I have to answer all these? The main thing you have to watch out for is what it is. Is this a balance sheet item, which are these first few, or is it an income and expense item, which are these last few here? Okay, but no matter what you put it into, you can't break it. So if you set it up wrong, it's easy fix.
Okay.
So I think it's get it set up, call it what it is. So this one is called bank. So if you change this, say it was something to do, we were doing expenses there, it'll change to a different detail type anyway. And then it might just be diesel or something, you know. And that will go straight into the balance sheet. This detail type isn't really that important for the reports I see anyway. So
okay.
Yeah. But all that chart is a map of the profit and loss and balance sheet, where things are going to go, you know. So but yeah, the thing we say here a bit is if it looks wrong, it generally is wrong. So there's a lot of info there. It's going to tighten that up a bit there. See there's a lot of numbers here, and maybe people like seeing all this. Just see what it's under, like they're not under. So is this like a bank section? So this money due from the old FireFly, it's probably a loan account, not a bank account.
Yeah, I think that's it's not an actual bank. It's what they were doing previously, Dee, she's not here anymore, she retired, but what was happening was in the old QuickBooks, people still owed money, and they
Yeah,
were
I
when
kind
they
of
were
have to
paying
remember
off
this.
it, they were paying it off. So money that would have come into the new bank needed to, I don't
Yeah,
know.
we're keeping track of it some way here anyway. So, anyway, they could be kind of sub-accounted into each other eventually, these things, you know. So those numbers there, by the way, again, they just make it look messy, don't they? Unless they're the last 3 digits of the actual bank account. Is that what they are?
I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah.
No,
Well, yeah, I kind of guess that might be some of it. Anything that's got a minus down here. So payroll liabilities is one. We've been through that one. This Volkswagen loan or something. That's a minus. It means we're paying money for a loan that isn't on the account. So that's another thing to bring in there. So
right, so we need a bill for that, is what you're
yeah,
saying.
it's probably a lease or anyway, the fact that it's a minus down there means there's something not in there. Either the liability on the loan, or maybe they're renting the car and it should be in the profit and losses equipment rental anyway.
Right, so if we see a minus there, that minus 3588, you're saying
Yeah.
that like Fiona paid that, she put it into that nominal code, but actually it was paying for something that's not there to be paid.
Yeah, well, not there yet anyway. So there's a loan to go in to say if we're paying this, what is it? Perhaps we owe them 20,000 or something, and we're paying it off at so much a month. So just to put in, it's a debit credit. I don't know, are you into that? But the debit would be the piece of equipment or the vehicle, and the credit would be the amount owing on it, you know?
Yeah,
So,
okay. But
so
you
if it's a
surely,
higher purchase, that, yeah, sounds like a higher per HP there.
yeah, but you'd normally get an invoice for them things. So I must ask her about that because,
Yeah, no VAT there as well.
and
Yeah.
what, is it okay to have that at no VAT? There should be VAT.
Depends what's on the agreement. Sometimes all the VAT is claimed. They give you the bill, you claim all the VAT, and you pay them off over 3 or 5 years.
Okay.
So that would be okay at no VAT then. But and other ones then there is VAT if they're kind of a lease arrangement. So it depends on what's signed up. So
Yeah. But she needs to be making a bill for that.
yeah, and there needs to be an opening position on that anyway. So what I mean by that is there's a vehicle. This could be a journal, a bill or a journal. Yeah, there's what are we paying this crowd for is not in there at the moment. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So just I don't know enough about the transaction, but it's simple enough, I'd say, for her to get the bottom off. She probably just haven't got to it, you know. But anyway, those are the things. And on the profit and loss as well. Again, if it looks right, it is right. So we're here. Again, some people might just prefer this type of thing. Oh yeah, we showed that a minute ago, sorry. With the P&L. So you see those numbers there again?
Yeah,
they're kind of in your way, you know. I think they're a distraction. They're not bothering me because I'm not dealing with it, but the easier it is for you guys. So how you get rid of them of, see the euro sales, you just go into edit and they're sitting here right beside the number.
okay.
There, you just delete that.
Okay.
It's more got to do with migration and stuff that these guys might have. I think I'm cast my mind back to a previous consultation. I think they were doing some migration themselves, you know, and the guys who do it tend to put in these numbers, but that's for their migration purposes. You don't need them after that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you just delete them like that and save, and it's just less clutter in your face, you know. So
Yeah, because it's very busy.
it is, yeah. So at a glance down, yes, that's sub account. I'll undo that sub account stuff now in case. But definitely on the salaries,
Yeah, I
laying
think
it out like that is tidier. It's much easier. Double check travel expenses. You mentioned something about subsistence though. You couldn't change this, is it? Was it something you couldn't change the nominal account for? Michelle, was it?
yeah, but I suppose I'd need Fiona just to kind of drill into a lot of them.
Okay. So not sure what that is, but the normal account is the chart of accounts.
Yes.
Another word for it. Okay. So never found any problem changing the name. The place to change it is there under name.
Okay.
But if you're changing is it an asset liability type of thing? The place to change it is here. So yeah, so see what the issue was, and maybe perhaps it is something I missed. Yeah. So.
And can we
But,
just have a quick look in on the NI one?
yeah, sure.
NI company. So they said that all the sales, 90% of the sales go through here.
Okay, it's coming up now in a second. Yeah, let's pause this one.
It's written in the VAT probably.
That, okay.
And just a quick glance at the P&L and the balance sheet just to see.
Okay. Okay, got it. Yeah, move that around.
And would it be the same thing here? Obviously, we're always going to be paying the VAT on this side, but we'd always be recouping it on the ROI side.
Yeah, that's it. So you see that VAT one there now? It's a good one, actually. Good idea. October to December. Okay. You filed that today, did you?
Well, what we did in the accountants in the north did.
Okay. So when the payment is going through, this will sit here for you as well. We just see if the dials there. I'm just going to click on that. But it does a very neat sorted out. You're going to payment 57,000. What day you're going to do it? How much you're going to pay? And then if you've anything you want to say about it, say it there.
Yeah.
Money due to. Okay, these are various bank accounts. I kind of remember seeing the lump sum payers again.
Yeah. Oh, it's the same thing.
Same thing again, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The money comes into the bank, then you transfer it into the lump sum payers, and then you go into the customer account and allocate the payment.
Okay. So, but basically when you do the VAT return, it'll ask you, do you want to pay it? And it'll put it into the VAT suspense itself,
Right. But that's where it sits.
Yeah, that's where it sits, yeah. And in that you'll see VAT REO, us paying it, VAT REO, us paying it, when you click into it again.
So when you go into the P&L, will that be sitting there as VAT suspense?
It'll always be in the balance sheet.
Or in the balance sheet, sorry.
Yeah.
It'll be sitting there.
Yeah.
And it's gone into the VAT expense. No.
Yeah, so that 57,000 that was filed today, you see it's sitting right there now.
Yeah.
Waiting to be paid, yeah.
And then when we pay it, that's the nominal code we're putting it into the payment.
Yeah. So I click in there, probably show the previous ones. Yeah, so these are the previous ones. It always comes in as a journal entry when you file it. So there's probably January, February, March, then it was paid. March, April, May, then it was paid. June, July, August. I'm only guessing these periods. June, July, August, and it's paid. So they're doing that correctly there now.
Okay. And is there any journals that we have to remember to do? Like obviously we have to do the wages one for the P30. So it shows that we're owing the money.
Yeah, but if you enter that as a bill, it'll remember where to put everything. You just change the amount every month.
And what do you do then when it comes to like prepayments and accruals, like?
But that's end of year stuff. They're under plus here. You can actually do journals. Yeah.
Right.
Debits and credits. If you're comfortable with them, and then reverse them out afterwards.
Yeah. So
yeah.
what I would have done when I be doing the month ends in the last place, like I'd do up my prepayments and do my calculations, and then I would go in and do the journal for them, and then I would reverse it then. Do you know, if I was doing January, I'd do the prepayments nominal or journal for January, and then I'd reverse it then the first day in February.
Yeah, you can do the same thing here.
Just to show that we do actually have prepayments or accrual.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to new and journal. So if I just, but see, I also have to find, I'm not up to date with that yet either. So, but I'm pretty sure we do have prepayments.
Oh yeah, there'll be insurance or something anyway, you know. And yeah, again, just have a crack at it here. The only thing I'd say is always have a description there. I saw accountants lately doing journals for a crowd that no one knew what they were for, you know, and the accountants were too busy to write it. I mean, there were chancellors, this crowd down here. You know, just remind yourself what to do. And then again, you can automate them, that the same one will go through every month, but you can always edit that to change the amounts, you know, but at least it's got prepayments, accruals, stock, whatever.
Yeah, because if I was to do month ends, you know, you'd want to be shown that there's prepayments. So you're saying if I create a prepayment, a nominal code.
Yeah, there's none there. You see, there would have been one, I think, originally set up. There is, yeah. There's prepayments there.
Because they don't record depreciation either.
Okay. Well, on the other one, I didn't see any assets there. On the ROI.
Yeah, because there's about 20 companies. So, yeah.
So, but there is this Volkswagen payment, so maybe that has to go in at the very least, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but there was no assets on the ROI one. I don't know, is there any here? I'll just go away from that. You can't break anyway, you know, so that's generally. Is there any assets up there? There is some office equipment, all right, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so you could do a journal, whatever way that's depreciated. And yeah, all bought last year, yeah. So there's some therapy device.
Yeah, but they don't seem to record depreciation on anything.
Okay.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, well, no harm to bring that in. You can make that a recurring journal, you know, so.
And how do you do the reversal then? So if I was to create a journal for February for
Just the opposite of your debits and credits, yeah.
Yeah, but where do you do the reversal then? Where can you reverse it?
Well, you just reverse on the first. So let's just say it was credit insurance in the profit and loss.
Yes.
Debit prepayments. Okay,
yeah, but is there something that you can click to say, you know, reverse this on the first of the next month, or
no,
you have to go in and you have to do the journal again?
Do the journal again, or as we do here sometimes, just edit it, date it a month further ahead and get ready to use the next month.
Right, so there is no reversal option.
No, there's no automatic reversal.
You just have to, all right, okay.
So it should be reflected, say, in these things, these expenses. And then when you're editing it, just click into it and just, it's like post-dating the bill. Leave it up ahead of you, because at least you don't have to go debit this, credit that, you know. Like you just change the amounts for whatever's appropriate at the time.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying if I had a journal for prepayments and for January, and then I wanted to go and do them for February, just go in on that journal and change the date and the amounts, is it?
Yeah. Let's bring it on.
Right, okay.
Yeah. You might find the journals don't show up in the graphs. That's one thing about QuickBooks generally, but as long as you know that.
I don't make, I'm not aware, I'm not familiar with these. I don't even know what I'm looking at.
The other thing is too, if you're thinking of monthly accounts.
Yes.
I'm just clicking on the word reports here.
Yeah.
And you see this management reports here. There's a few extra ones here. I'll just do, say, sales performance, just click it. But it comes out in a nice format. You know, nothing showing up there at the moment, but here it comes. You get this type of thing. So someone might like to see that. So it's summarized, it's got a title on it, and it gives all the detail behind it. Okay, and I think you can edit it. You can, yeah. So before you print it, say it's a sales performance one, edit it. Now, you might want to have a particular title or something, but you can actually put in, you know, comment somewhere.
Yeah, that's a very handy function.
Very handy, yeah. To make
Yeah.
a lot of wow factor, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that's just under your report. That's just over to the right a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you find it. It's a new one. I haven't really looked at this. There's nothing in there yet. Yeah. That's one in the UK, but there's nothing in it when I looked yet. And here is again where you saved ones specific for you or other people. Yeah. But again, it's the same big load of reports. And there's too many here for you. So just green the ones that you're interested in, and they'll always be at the top 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just something's after popping into my head. You know, when we do create the rule for the salaries, and we have a couple of employees who get travel expenses. So, you know, there are some months they won't have travel and some they will. So say it was me and I was due to get travel, to be reimbursed for travel this month, but it's not going to be in next month's. How do you incorporate that in the rule, that when Michelle Fox's wages is paid and is sitting in the bank, that it's one part of it's going to salaries and the other part's going to travel expense? Is
it all in the one payment?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you see, do we have any? Is there payroll in this one?
No. Yeah, there is actually.
Okay. Well, it'll initially throw the whole lot into
salaries,
right? In that case, there is a way you can edit it to split it, but you'll never know in advance. So
yeah, because there's always there's two employees that get. There's one employee here that will get it every month.
Okay, well, I'll click on one of these. So there's a couple of people.
Yeah, so if you see Francis there now, he will get see there, he's travel.
Yeah, and they've done that the correct way there.
Yeah.
So they've said 80 quid is travel and 899 is a salary. So you do an extra line down here. Now on the rule thing, it'll put it all in there, right?
Yes.
So you'll have to be aware of it, that there's travel, and just click into it when it's like in the profit and loss, and just take 80 quid out of this and put it down here and then go save. You just edit it accordingly. That's all.
Right. So you go into the profit and loss and drill into it there, and then it should bring this up, and then you just put the line in.
Put the line in, yeah.
Right. Okay.
That's all you do there. And on the rule, you can split it up on the rule, but in the case you're describing, get used to using the rules first, and there is a way you can split it if it's a uniform amount. But if it's not, you as well just go in and edit it at the time. You know, you have it done.
Okay.
It won't take that long or anything. So, but you could say put 80 quid into there, but if it's always moving, just go back and edit it. You're back into the editing anyway. That's just the way the job is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to look back over this now and try and attempt to create them rules, and then obviously talk to Fiona about them payments, just to do up a bill for them. You know, the ones like the Volkswagen. Yeah,
the opening balances, you know, because the picture is starting to look correct. Then let me just have a glance this balance sheet. So again, there's a lot of intercompany stuff here, so I won't say too much. There's bank, I can click that. The lump sum payers, I mean, there's certainly no need for that. It's kind of, when you click in here, it doesn't, although actually they're putting a memo on this one, all right? Didn't see that on the last one now. So although there's no need for the lump sum payers thing, at least they have the name of the person here. Remember I said you'd never know who it is?
Yeah.
The previous one, I didn't see that on the previous one now. But here, at least that they're telling us whose money it is. But there's no need for that approach anyway. As the money comes in, you just put it straight in to the bank account. And
Right, so if I refresh again, if I see money coming in from somebody and it's sitting there in the bank, I can just,
just go into receive payment for the same amount, bring it into your debtors and lodge it to the correct bank account, and it'll match up in that waiting room then.
if you just go into the bank there and we just see if there's somebody there, if money is come in.
So here is it.
Yeah. So you're saying if I knew who that 322 belonged to, I could just click on it. I would put in the customer's name in that.
No, the first thing you would do is you go to, and I've just saved anyway, so look back at it, go plus and receive payment. So say that AIB came from Michelle Fox.
Yeah.
Michelle Fox, I'd do receive payment, Michelle Fox, 332, tick off the bill, go save and close, but make sure this is going into the
Make sure it's the same bank.
same bank, yeah, okay. And then when I X this out, it'll say here, matched Michelle Fox.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Okay. And then,
So-
yeah, as you say, it cuts
And
out
you're
lump
done.
sum payers.
Yeah, so you're not, this lump sum payment is, it's just creating a layer of admin you don't need. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. So if I see that money sitting there, I'm just going to go new, receive payment.
Yeah, and make sure you
I
lodge.
I don't have-
Yeah.
I don't have to actually click on it.
No, you don't have to click on those at all.
Right. Okay. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna go, I just have to go receive payment, put in the customer, make sure it's the right bank.
Yeah,
So I put in the amount, obviously.
yeah, it'll match up with the amount.
Right. And it'll
Then
just
it'll come on.
come back
Did-
here then and it'll be gone.
Yeah, the reason these are out here is they're not too sure what the money was for.
Yeah.
Or what the money came from, so it's still looking for the clue.
Okay.
You know, it's obviously seen this before being put into lump sum payers or something, so it's suggesting that there, that's all.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah,
That's great.
so there's a bit there anyway, so
Yeah, as I say, I'm going to be seeing Fiona on Wednesday, and because she's just like me. She came across this QuickBooks and she didn't really get a whole pile of education on it. So myself and herself were kind of in the same boat. So we're trying to get our heads around it as much as possible.
yeah.
So we might look at just doing another session with you, but have the two of us.
Yeah, the only thing I'd say is you're more into the training with support. you
Yeah,
know.
I that's what I was going to ask you. Is that
Yeah.
the best way to do it?
It
That
is, yeah.
you
can
paid the
book.
paid the 250 and then
You have a month of it, you know.
right. So
Yeah.
what do we do? Just schedule time with you or what? How does it work?
Yeah, if you go onto our website, there's QuickBooks training there, and the link, you can book a time that suits the two of you. So the two of
Okay.
you can be on it. It's still 250 for 2 or up to 5. But 2 is enough because we did 5 recently, and they kind of got in each other's way. They were fine with me, like, but you know, but the 2 of you be grand, you know. So
Yeah.
it's recorded anyway, so if you want to show it to other people, you can, you know.
So we just want you on to Kevin Barry, is it? And then go QuickBooks
Yeah.
training.
And then you can book these 15-minute Zooms after that on unlimited for the rest of the month. And I have 4 more people here who can step in if I'm unavailable. Like, there's a lot more availability there on that. So
Okay.
yeah, and they're very good, other girls. Yeah. So,
Brilliant.
yeah, so like you're not a million miles off. It's just tidy up. You know, it's in pretty good shape, but just certain things, unless I showed them to you, you wouldn't get them. I can tell that, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but that's fine. Like, I think we covered anything that's like, you're in pretty good shape, really. Like, you know. So
Yeah, we just have to do a little bit of housekeeping because
yeah,
it is
that's
very
what it is.
busy. Yeah, it's very busy.
Yeah.
Even for me trying to make it out. What I was trying to do was kind of group them, like you see there the nominals, they're going, you know, they're in the same category, but like you have 1,008 and then 1,000, you know, they're awful sporadic, the nominal codes.
Yeah, I can tell that's from the
You
migration.
know, so where I like to kind of have things categorized. Yet if the sales would be like, say, 4,000 to 4,012, your purchases be your 5,000 to 5,012, you know, they'd be kind of in order and grouped in categories.
Yeah.
You know, which here is kind of, yeah, it's a bit busy, just needs a bit of tidy up. So when you're looking at it, it just looks more readable, you know.
It does, yeah, it's consistent, you know.
Yeah.
And stuff is avoiding jobs down the road, like that, putting everyone's wages under their own name, tidy out of the way. It saves any delays in cross-checking. What do we tell revenue was paid? What do we pay each of those people? You know, it ties up directly, you know.
And then you're taking out the admin element out of it. Like say, if Fiona go in then and she'd say the payment and she'd go and she'd allocate it. But at least now with this, that's something, you know, she can no longer has to do.
Yeah, no longer has to kind of go into each, oh, this must go there, this must go there, you know.
Yeah.
It will start, that rules anyway needs to be, by the time you're finished, it'll be well populated, I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
There's other little things that will come up. I can anticipate them, but it's better to kind of encounter them. Like it's when a lump sum payment goes to a supplier, it won't match up with any bill because it's paying multiple bills. How do you handle that? You know.
Yeah.
It's very, you know, I'll show you that one the next day.
Brilliant.
How to do it, yeah. So
brilliant. Well, I'm going to have a look back over this one of the day. When do you send it on?
Yeah, it'll come down. It's recording here. I'll get an email on it in a couple of hours. I'll put it on YouTube, and you'll have the link forever. Yeah.
Brilliant. And then
before tomorrow, you'll have it anyway. Before tomorrow, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, I'll look over that and I'll start doing. Are you saying just wait till the payment comes out of the bank for the wages and then create the rules?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take the time.
Right. And then you're saying when it comes to when you're running the payroll, then just create the bill for the PAYE.
Yeah.
So it's sit there and then it'll sit there until obviously we pay it.
Exactly. Yeah. And when you pay it, it'll match up against the bill automatically.
Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant.
One less thing to be chasing around, you know.
Brilliant. That's great. Thank you so much.
Very good. Thanks very much yourself. And okay, I'll let you off. And anyway, I'll put this through to you. And if we hear from you, great. If we don't hear from you, we know you've been an A student.
Oh no, you'll be sick of me. You'll be saying this one again. Because as I say, I have to fully understand everything. Like I have to be able to say it right. I'm looking at this. Yeah, I'm confident that that's where it should be. Like, you know, I just have to know every little minute detail. Okay. And I came from a background where I knew everything about the system. I knew, you know, if anything cropped up, I knew it cropped up. I knew it shouldn't be there. Or if somebody else like that put in a wrong adjustment, I'd be able to fix it worse. Now I'm coming into something and it's just, I'm like, you know, pure green with it. I'm just like, what do I do? Where do I go? Where do I find this? Where do I find that? So.
God, yeah. Yeah, I know. Well, it's a great program anyway, and you should, you know.
Yeah, well, I
will get comfortable with it, yeah.
Yeah, I have to say it is like it does take an awful lot of the manual stuff out of it. Whereas when you're dealing with Sage, everything has to be, you know, manually inputted. And like that, you can't go to change it. You have to create journals, you know, to do adjustments. Whereas here, you know, it's a lot more straightforward. As I always said, the one thing Sage was missing was an undo button. But sometimes when you were trying to adjust something, it's nearly trial and error, and then when you've done it, you can't undo it. You have to do, you know, you have to create another journal. You know, it's just, yeah, it's a bit. Whereas this, you can kind of delete it and do it again.
Yeah, get it right the next time.
Yeah.
It all looks right then.
Yeah, brilliant.
Very good.
Appreciate that. As I say, I'm going to speak with Fiona on Wednesday, and we're going to just compile other stuff we need to look at, and then get back to you then with the training.
That sounds okay. Okay, I'll send up the recording and we'll wait till we hear from you, Michelle. Okay.
Brilliant. Lovely. Thank you so much, Kevin. Have a lovely evening.
Same to you, dear. Sloan.
Bye.
Bye now.